am the Kid Movie Ninja.
Hi, Internet!
And welcome to Kid Movie Ninja with your hosts, Fighting Leaf and Husky the Wolf. I don't know how many of you have noticed this, but very recently a lot of my videos have been taken down and put back up. One of which, most recently, was the Fantastic Adventures of Unico review.
And what are we gonna do about it? Why, we're gonna review it again!
You sure that's a good idea, man? 'Cause it wasn't easy getting the video back up the first time. These people ain't exactly super concerned with fair use.
While Rugburn has a legitimate point, fair use laws have always been a bit of a sliding scale. This time, we're going to restructure our videos going forward so that they fall even more squarely on the side of fair use legal, as opposed to skirting the line as much as I did, if you can even call what I've been doing skirting the line.
Before we continue, though, we just want to say that no, we don't hate Tesco Productions or nothing like that.
Not at all. But we simply can't stand by while they stifle legitimate enterprises. We stood up for ourselves when they tried taking our ad revenue.
We stood up for ourselves when they took down our video. Twice.
And we're standing up here. Now, without further ado, another review of the Fantastic Adventures of Unico.
The Super Fair Use Edition! First things first, this flick's about a magical baby unicorn that has the power to make anyone happy.
You'd think a creature like that would be universally hailed as something good, right?
Ha! No.
As it turns out, there are gods in this movie, and they have their own ideas of where happiness should come from.
Some of their points include the following.
The gods, who thought that they alone had the right to decide when people should be happy.
A, they want to be the ones in charge of spreading happiness.
Happiness should only be the end result of years of sacrifice and hard labor.
B, they believe that happiness should be earned, not given. Those opinions are portrayed as being selfish and pettiness among the gods. Japan comes from a long polytheist tradition, and most polytheist religions depict their gods as being as flawed and selfish as normal people.
Okay, Leaf, this ain't one of your editorials. Don't go off chasing rabbits here. All you gotta know is that not everyone's happy about happiness.
They ultimately decide to banish Unico in the Hill of Oblivion, a place where entire existence can be essentially undone without technically killing him.
So, the Phantom Zone?
Yes, that's so much more merciful than just killing him. Hey, you don't know, maybe someone built an amusement park there. Ooh! Welcome to Oblivion Land, the best place never to exist! I'm gonna shut up now.
So the gods tell the West Wind to take him away to the Land of Oblivion. Turns out, though, she can't bring herself to go through with it because even she knows that Unico doesn't deserve to cease existing. So she drops him off in the most scary, depressing place ever!
Now, this is kind of a long-winded explanation of the plot, but there's a reason we're going into such detail.
We just so happen to have a copy of the source material right here. And whoo, let me tell you, there are some differences. First off, the gods here aren't all grody old beardmen.
The story follows the goddess Venus and her jealousy of the mortal girl Psyche. Unico simply enters the story because he's attracted to her beauty and meekness. Unico thwarts her initial attempts, however she does eventually succeed and get the West Wind to carry him off to the Hill of Forgetfulness.
And there's some kind of pet contest involved or something.
A huge part of the Unico lore is that he makes people happy, gets taken away once they are happy, then is forced to forget that they ever existed, keeping him lonely forever.
Except that he's never lonely for very long, because everywhere he goes, he always finds someone else who benefits from being loved and made happy and saccharine tripe like that.
The themes of pettiness among the gods is still absolutely there, but it is framed very differently.
But now, who exactly is Unico? What is he? And why does a tiny horse have a puppy's nose?
There are other characters aside from Unico in this film, the most important being the new Devil of Solitude, Beazle.
In the comic, he's just called Solitude. And he's pea-colored for some reason. Oh, and there's Katie the kitty.
And she's simply called Chow in the comic, and in the Japanese dub. And Beezle was called Akuma in the Japanese dub of this movie. Lot of name changes going on here. In any case, the film draws most of its inspiration from Katie's story, and yet it's Beezle's story that's the least changed out of anyone's.
Except that in this comic, his story happens last, while in the movie, it happens first. And why does Japan have to be so confusing?
It's not just Japan, Husky. Every movie based on a long-running series has to make changes like these, especially when jumping from one language to another. But this is supposed to be about Unico.
Unico isn't a super complex character. What you see is pretty much what you get. He's an adorable, gentle, happy, and freaking what? Yeah, he's pretty much the most awesome sissy unicorn ever.
There's also a point where he makes a very odd-seeming proposition to the Beezle character.
I know! If you'll be my friend, I'll give you anything you want!
He makes the same kind of promise in the comic, but it's real boring there. And in the movie, it turns out like this.
Really and truly? Really and truly.
Really and truly and truly and truly?
Yeah, just like I said. Really and truly and truly and true. I think I lost count somewhere.
Watch the movie if you want to see the whole thing. Suffice it to say, he is not kidding around when he says stuff like that.
He's got the power to back it up.
He can shift his size,
Sprout wings,
mimic the calls of other animals,
and even make himself big enough to ride on.
and the comic claims that he has even more powers than just that.
But there's a limit to when he can actually use them.
While he is incredibly powerful, his abilities are greatly affected by his own emotional state and the state of others.
One of the big points of the movie and the series as a whole is how you can find these good vibes he needs in the most surprising of places.
Take Beezle, for example, the first character Unico interacts with meaningfully in the film. In both the comic and the film, the little devil of solitude is rough, mean, and even downright violent to our hero. But even he learns eventually how to value the company and friendship of another by the end of his arc.
And no Tezuka Productions, that ain't a spoiler.
Anyone who's ever seen these types of kid films knows exactly what kind of arc the character's going to go through. The point is that they actually want to watch it happen.
By the way, isn't there a cat in this flick?
Why, yes, Husky. Yes, there is. And this is where the movie gets weird. Which actually segues nicely into our next segment.
Okay, brace yourselves, guys, because this movie gets trippy.
Now, this movie is sort of almost musical-ish in that there are 3 or so songs sung by a disembodied narrator.
And the first one introduces Unico, pretty much showing off how much of a cinnamon roll he really is.
The song we want to focus on, though, is Katie the Kitty Witch from Katie Chow's story.
Yeah, her song sounds normal and stuff, but the visuals are... weird.
It's pretty much about Katie's wish to become a witch someday. And it also features...
Ah! I'm freaking out, man! Why is Hello Kitty here? What's going on?
Oh, that's because Sanrio, the Hello Kitty people, actually helped produce this film.
I guess they found the adorable unicorn movie cute enough to help out with, huh?
Dude getting impaled on a steeple.
Huh?
That's not cute!
Yeah, that's the next weird thing that this movie does. Things start off reasonably wholesome throughout the film until the third act, when everything gets really dark.
We don't mean like The Crow levels of dark or anything like that, but...
Oh, don't worry, that didn't kill him. This is where the final battle really begins. Again, because we want these videos going forward to be as fair use friendly as possible, if you want to actually witness the awesomeness that is the final battle, go watch the movie.
Part of the things we have to concern ourselves with is whether or not our films qualify as a substitute for the original product or not.
That's not to say that any of our videos were ever true substitutes for the films themselves. However, going forward, I want it to look less like they are. And so, things like ending spoilers or saying things that aren't super obvious or would ruin the experience, I'm going to tone that down from now on.
Unless there's something really important you gotta know going into it.
In which case, it would be our duty as critics and reviewers to let our audience know what they're getting into. You can all watch this film legally online on Amazon Prime, Tubi with ads, on Crunchyroll, and Funimation.com.
Never mind about that last one, actually.
You can also purchase it and Unico The Island of Magic on DVD and Blu-ray. This video is simply to let you all know what you're getting into.
For example, Scary Blue Man. Riding through the woods, making squirrels fight monkeys. I don't know, it's the third act. This terrifying Dracula guy shows up and bad stuff happens.
And we haven't even touched on the Night Wind yet. Just know that all of these seemingly darker elements all serve the basic positive message of the film, where love and hope overcome the dark forces of the world.
We should tell him about the voice acting.
Oh, yes, we should.
You have a lovely voice.
Oh, wow. Holy crap, he sounds like he came from Fun and Balloon Land.
What are you doing here?
The English dub was never amazing at any point, but it hits a hilarious low point when the Baron shows up.
All in all, though, if you're a big Tezuka fanboy like us, then this movie is a must-see.
We still haven't had the chance to pick up Unico and the Island of Magic yet, but it is definitely on our radar. So, right now, we have a little bit of a personal message to deliver to our friends at Tezuka Productions. This video is protected by fair use laws. It is a movie review and a commentary, addressing the pros and cons, high points and low points, merits and flaws in the film. At the end of the day, we do want people to look this film up through legal channels. I've specifically written and performed this particular video to be as little of a substitute for the film itself as I could possibly make it. I don't legally have to go as far as I did, but this is a goodwill gesture. If you attempt to go after this review as well, I warn you, you will not have even as much a leg to stand on for this one as you did with the last video that you tried taking down or taking the monetization from it.
And to our fans and viewers, do not go after the owners of this flick with mean comments or anything like that. If you must contact them, be nice. Do not threaten to bite their faces off in the middle of the night with your ravenous Wolverine buddies.
Seriously though, no foul play with this one. I want to end this video on good terms with Tezuka Productions. Besides, this video was a breeze to write and it should help with our video output from now on.
Hopefully that means something this time.
We can only hope.
What's up, guys? Rugburn here, and I'm doing our Patreon shout this week. Starting off, we got Josh Savage 007 and Joyful Cryptid. After that, Bashful Ivory, Megan Cloud, and Jordan Mathis continue being awesome by supporting our work. Hey, you want to be awesome too? Come check out our Patreon link in the description below. Like the music we use? Check out Steve's shop. A link to his channel's also in the description below. And in case you wanted to send us any mail, send it to P.O. Box 82, Prospect, Kentucky 40059. And hopefully we'll check it out at some point, but these 3 months, let me tell you, whew!